Chapter 9. William awoke when the sun's light broke through the window. He was tired of lying in bed, and he was bored. The need to do something, anything, burned in his veins. And while the pain hadn't gone away entirely, he believed it had dulled enough that he could try moving. Remembering to take it slower this time after yesterday's fiasco, he dropped his right leg out of the bed first before pushing up with his arms. He had just achieved a sitting position with one leg out of the bed when Emma entered the room. "What are you doing?" she gasped, hurrying toward him and placing the tray she was holding on the table. "You're supposed to be resting." She faced him with her hands on her hips and a reproachful look on her face. The look was comical on her, but William swallowed his laughter, sure she would take offense to it. "I can't lay in this bed another whole day," he said instead. "Please, just let me see if I can handle moving around." Her bottom lip folded under in that endearing gesture again, and he could see the indecision in her eyes. "If it hurts too much, I promise I'll get back in bed," he pleaded. "All right, if you promise." Though she still looked apprehensive, she held out a hand to help him up. He grasped her slender hand, ignoring the sensation that shot up his arm, and used her weight as leverage to swing his other leg out of the bed and push himself up. The pain in his neck throbbed a little, but wasn't unbearable. Unfortunately, he had stood up too quickly, and black dots encroached his vision. He felt himself start to sway. "Whoa!" Emma's arms wrapped around his chest to stabilize him. William's body reacted impulsively to a woman being in his arms again, and his own arms encircled her. The smell of vanilla and sugar filled his nose. When the room stopped spinning, William registered how perfectly Emma fit in his arms. His heart sped up, and his gaze dropped to Emma's face. Her green eyes met his, filled with desire and confusion. Her perfect pink lips parted, and she inhaled. William wanted to kiss her, to taste those lips, but before he could say or do anything, she stepped out of his embrace, averting her eyes and breaking the moment. "I think you need more rest," she said, as she turned away from him and fiddled with something on the tray. He couldn't help but feel pleased at the pink blush on her cheeks. She must have felt something too. "Nonsense." He cleared his throat to hide the emotions he was feeling. "I'm fine now. I just need to remember to stand more slowly next time." "In that case, would you care to eat breakfast at the table with the rest of us?" Emma asked. "I would sure like to try," William said, as he took a hesitant step. Emma bit her lip, as if she was deciding whether he could do it on his own or she would have to help him. Though he would not mind her arms around him again, he didn't want her to feel obligated. So he took another step, this one more confident than the last. With a nod, Emma picked up the tray and led the way to the homey kitchen. The table was already filled with the younger brother and sister he had already met, as well as an elder boy and girl he had yet to meet. "Carrie, can you set another place for our guest?" Emma asked. A girl who appeared to be a younger version of Emma pushed her chair back and walked into the kitchen, returning a moment later with a plate and utensils. She set the plate down across from the only other empty setting at the table. "You've already met Benjamin and Jenny," Emma said, pointing at the two youngest children who were shoving pancakes in their mouths. "The other two are Samuel and Carrie." Carrie flashed him a small smile, while Samuel nodded at William. Emma put the bowl of porridge she had brought from the bedroom at the place setting Carrie had just laid down. While the porridge looked delicious, William's stomach rumbled audibly at the sight and smell of the pancakes. Emma lifted an eyebrow. "If you think you can handle it, you are welcome to try some pancakes." She pulled out the chair across from him and sat down. With a sheepish grin, William sat at the table and stabbed 2 pancakes with his fork. He forced himself to cut the pancakes into smaller bites, though all he wanted to do was shove the entire thing in and fill the gaping hole in his belly. The act of chewing put a little more strain on the wound, but he found he could tolerate the pain, and before he knew it, the 2 original pancakes were gone, along with 2 others he had for seconds. As he finished chewing the last bite, he looked up to see Emma staring at him, a bemused expression on her face. "Guess I was hungry," he said with a half smirk and a shrug of his shoulders. "I suppose you were," she said with a laugh. "I'm glad you were able to join us for breakfast, but I think you need to get back to bed now."
"Nonsense," William said. "I need to walk around. My neck and shoulders are stiff, but my legs work fine, and I'm certain your father said I would need exercise when I was feeling better."
As Emma bit her bottom lip, William knew he had struck gold. Their gazes locked, and William's heart did another stutter step in his chest. Before it could really ramp up, Jenny's voice broke the connection. "You can go, Emma. I'll help Carrie clean up." Jenny ended this statement with a giant wink at Emma, which caused a lovely pink to bloom on Emma's porcelain cheeks. "Yes, we can get this," Carrie spoke up in a similar teasing tone. William had to bite his lips to keep from smiling, not only at the girls' antics, but also at the clueless faces of their brothers. "Very well then, but we'll keep it short. Shall we, William?" Emma stood and smoothed her skirt before raising her head to meet his eyes.
"We shall," he said, following her lead.